everybody, it is me, Alexa, and today we will be reviewing the 2007 Bollywood film Om Shanti Om. Warning, this is a spoiler review. The movie is on Netflix, so if you haven't seen it, I'd recommend going and watching it before watching this review because I will be spoiling it a lot. So there you go, there's your warning. Alright, so this movie is directed by Shahrukh Khan, who is indeed a woman. Represent. That's always really, really exciting. This is pretty much the first Indian film I've seen directed by a woman, so I was really excited going into it. And I was not disappointed. The movie stars Shahrukh Khan and Deepika Padukone. Is it Padukone or just Padukone? I feel like it's Padukone, but I don't know. And the music is by Shahrukh. So I overall really enjoyed this movie. I think that the story was a lot of fun. Alright, before I jump into my full review, I actually have a quick little beef with Netflix that they're never gonna see this, but Netflix, figure this out. So recently, whenever I've gone to watch Indian films, I watched my first Shahrukh Khan film earlier this week. I watched the movie Dawn, and while I did enjoy it, it was ruined for me by the one sentence, the little descriptor that Netflix puts there, because it literally gave away the fact that there was a lookalike and that's what was going to happen. So it ruined the entire intermission plot twist. So for Om Shanti Om, I was like, I'm not going to look at this description at all because I don't want the movie to be ruined for me, you know? And so after I finish watching it, I go to look at this description and I'm going to read for you verbatim what it is, because if you've seen this movie, you're going to know how horrible this is. So the exact wording of the description is, reincarnated 30 years after being killed in a suspicious on-set fire, a small-time actor is determined to punish the person who ignited the blaze. That's the entire intermission plot twist. What? How can you make that your description? In its one sentence, you're ruining like half the plot. Pretty much the whole plot is ruined by that, actually. That gives away the entire thing. It's horrible. You don't know who said it, but you can make assumptions as watching if you knew this. And if I had have read this first, it would have made the movie so much less enjoyable. Because my favorite parts in this movie were indeed those plot twists. So of course there's that really great song that's really romantic between Shahrukh Khan's character Om and Deepika's character Shanti, and they have this great little song. It's very La La Land-esque, super romantic. The colorings are beautiful. It definitely really gave me La La Land vibes, even though La La Land of course came out afterwards. But the two the like artistic style of it, and as well as kind of the tone of the music, but mostly the artistic style and transitions, the two really reminded me of each other. So yeah, this beautiful song where you're like, yay, Om's finally gonna get his dream girl Shanti, which is of course the movie that she's in, and it's gonna be all sweet and wonderful and amazing. But no. Of course, he follows her into a makeup room because she's ignoring him and he doesn't understand why, and it turns out that she's married to the director. I mean, not director, producer, and that blew my mind. I was like, wait, what? And then he's kind of a jerk, but she's pregnant, so he's like, it's okay, we'll work this out. And so I'm like, okay, cool. So I thought you're kind of a jerk, but then you hugged her and it'll all work out. Feel bad for Om, want him to get the girl, but he's, you know, it's fine. So at this point, I'm pretty surprised. I don't know what's going to go on forward, because I thought it was going to be a romance between Om and Shanti, and it still could be, but the guy, she's married, so that automatically adds a big complication, and I was interested to see where the story was going, because I had no idea anything about the plot. And so goes on, and of course then he follows her again, and he overhears their beautiful the beautiful speech that Arjun Rampal's character, who plays Mukesh/Mike, he comes in and he gives her this whole speech about how beautiful their wedding's gonna be, and it's gonna be right there in front of everybody, and then he sets the place on fire. Which just blew my mind. It was such a good twist. Arjun Rampal, I'm trying to memorize the names, I have them all written. Arjun Rampal does such a good job in it. I mean, that he really just feels so romantic and sweet, and Om even leaves the room, but then he switches, and he does it so well. He just seems completely just like evil. He does a spectacular job, and he's also in Dawn. He of course plays the young boy's father, Deepu's father. I don't remember his name, but Deepu's father. And he did a really great job in that as well, same with Shahrukh Khan. But in this, I thought he did an even more spectacular job. The way he was able to switch between those two like personalities was really interesting to watch. And even whenever he comes back in the second half and you know, he's whenever he's like a big producer and he's like kind of friendly, and he still kind of has like an evil vibe to him all throughout the saga. Like every time they show him, they do the dramatic music, and of course Om's like glaring at him all the time, but he does a really good job of switching between like the really positive, happy like producer personality and his I'm murdering jerk personality. But that whole fire sequence I also thought was spectacularly done, especially with its parallels to when they were in the field earlier, and of course whenever Om first meets Shanti, he runs through the fire and saves her. And so I thought he was gonna save her again, but no, they were not saved. They both died, which I did not expect. It was just crazy. And I really liked it. I think that it was the smart move for the story for sure. And then having him be reincarnated only to, as a huge celebrity, nonetheless, that was perfect for his character. And then have the girl, also played by Deepika, Shanti, her character is Sandy in the second half though, her to come in, and she's not the reincarnation, I don't believe, because it seems like Shanti's soul is indeed trapped still inside of the wedding venue, since she does come back as the ghost at the very end. Told you there was big spoilers in this. I really hope you've all seen this movie because it's ruined for you now. So I thought she was going to be the reincarnation of Shanti whenever we saw her, and, you know, of course played by the same actress. But no, and they do such a good job just slowly like teasing at him, and it just all builds, and it's so wonderfully done. I really enjoyed the whole award ceremony and after party sequence. While I did not recognize many of the actors in the after party, I did recognize all the actors in the actual award thing, the going up against him. We of course have Abhishek, who's in Doom, and I have indeed seen Doom 2, so I loved that Doom 5 reference. That was absolutely hilarious. They really just, the whole commentary of that award show was spectacularly done. All the fake movies and stuff, and then they have Rukh came out and he said he was gonna win, but then he wasn't even nominated, which I thought was interesting. So I don't know if that was supposed to be part of the joke or if maybe it got cut, because I do know it was originally over 3 hours, and so they had to cut it down a bit. It's still a very long movie, but it's only about like, it's 2 hours 50 I think it was, or 2:49 I think was the exact time. And so, you know, it did get cut down a bit, so I wonder if there was a thing with Rukh that got cut out, but I really loved the Doom 5 joke. And then there's also Akshay Kumar with his little sequence and his gun shooting. It was just so good. And then of course, Shahrukh Khan was nominated for 2 films. In both of them, it were like the exact same as Shah in both movies, so it was so self-aware and funny. I was cracking up. It was really well done. Doom 5 really got me. Yeah, so that whole award show was it was so fun. I enjoyed it a lot. And I also loved another self-aware moment. They had a few of those all throughout it. The very beginning, whenever he's in that crowd in that first opening song, you have Shahrukh Khan's character like wrestles with a woman for the coat that the hero threw out before they're shooting a scene, of course. And the woman that he wrestles with is the director. And at the end of it, he tries to like steal the coat, and the woman says something, and he like says to her, "Are you the director of this?" And then like, so that was pretty great, you know, because yes, she is the director. So I really enjoyed that, and also liked the whole commentary on 70s Bollywood film industry and kind of seeing a bit about it. Of course, I'm sure it was like exaggerated a little and just, you know, altered for a movie purpose, but it was cool to kind of see a little bit of behind the scenes of Bollywood cinema in the 70s, as well as then fast forward to the modern day. And also the fact that they had the director was the guy who like was taking notes and stole his idea from inside the tent in the 70s. So if it came back and he was a director was really funny. And that in itself was really self-aware, the whole like stealing ideas commentary. So, I mean, it was a lot of fun. I also really loved in the second half whenever they're doing like the music premiere in Shahrukh Khan's character, he, whenever he's like talking, he's like, the director, he pulls him, he's like, "What's your name again?" "Oh yes, my childhood friend, Khan." It was just, I mean, that's just so funny, the whole thing of saying, and then he called like everyone who came in my childhood friend. I thought that was really funny and a good little just like jokes. So the whole build up of the second half, because the first half ended and of course they both died, and I was immediately like, whoa, where are we gonna go from here? And then the second they had his voiceover again, I knew it was Shahrukh Khan, and so it was probably a reincarnation of him. And I thought that it was handled really, really well, though, the showing of him like slowly regaining his old memories, and then Mukesh coming back into his life, or Mike as he is now called, because that's what they call him in Hollywood. And their whole interactions back and forth, and how Om Prakash, Shahrukh Khan's character, is able to like finagle and just slowly eat away at Mukesh. But then I also really liked that Mukesh was smart enough. He like figured out that it wasn't what they were doing, and it gave him the credit that he was due, because he did indeed get away with murder. Like, he's not an idiot. So it definitely, I thought, did a good job with that, and making sure that all the characters did stuff that was true to their character. It wasn't like forced or just put in to make sense. It all actually worked really well together, in my opinion. And so then at the end, whenever you're supposed to think that it's Sandy on the stairs, I knew it wasn't, though, because I don't know, I just saw it coming. I was like, that's definitely Shanti. And then whenever she started the speech about, knowing that she was buried right there under the chandelier, of course, we knew that was it. The fact she was buried alive, too, I really wasn't expecting that. I was like, and then Om's body went missing because the other actor who he, like, worked with as an extra, hit him with the car, and then they, like, made it disappear. So his mother and best friend were left wondering where he went, and same with Shanti. Her whole family was left with, where's my daughter? And so that whole thing of it was just so, it was really well handled, but it was very dark. And I think that it lended to, because overall the film is very light. It's a very lighthearted, happy film. There's a lot of songs in this. There's like constantly songs, and they're all upbeat, and they're all super fun. And so to have this really dark undertone story to the whole thing, I think created a really nice like juxtaposition between the two, because you're like, there's this really happy song, but also all this stuff is what's happening. So it allowed you to really like feel the different ranges of emotion as you're watching it. And I think that Farah Khan did a spectacular job with that, so good on her. Going back to the ending, which I started talking about, then got distracted. There's that whole musical number kind of leading up to it before she comes out. That gave me really big Phantom of the Opera vibes. Just the whole how the music was, and the aesthetic of it, the like slowness, and then of course even the chandelier drop. I was like, yeah, Phantom of the Opera. So I thought that was really interesting. I think that they handled it really well. Like, it wasn't a direct like steal or anything. I don't think that at all. It was just they definitely, I think, lended to those tones of a person who's stuck in a theater is of course Phantom of the Opera, and then in this set, stuck on that film set where she has been waiting to try and like get someone to find her body, which is really just it was really compelling. I enjoyed that a lot. I have a lot of respect, and I started saying this earlier, about how it has such a dark undertone in those messages and like the overall story, but it's able to have this like showbiz exterior to it where it's so over the top and just like fun songs, and I think all of it flowed together so well that it's what made me really enjoy the movie. The fact that it had these moments like Doom 5 and the whole award show, and then a lot of the songs and how upbeat and wonderful they were, and then to have it be that fire scene, it was just absolutely beautiful. I think I started saying earlier about how I really love the final fire scene and how it relates to earlier whenever she's in the hayfield and they first meet. And one thing really, like, so it starts, she's screaming like the name, like, help, please help me. And it's the same in both, kind of. It's the same sort of situation. Om's in a situation where he is the only one who could save her. And he succeeds in that first one, that leads to their wonderful night together. And then, of course, all the reveals of the plot twists before intermission. And then it also, in that second one, whenever you really think that he's gonna save her because he did before. And so the fact that he not only doesn't save her, but then he himself also dies. Oh, so well done. I also really like that whenever Sandy, Deepika's character in the second half came back, she's like, it's like a role reversal, where in the first part, Om was a huge Shanti fan. He was like a big fanboy of Shanti, went and talked to her poster all the time, and just like absolutely was in love with her. And then the second half, you have the same thing but reverse, where Sandy is absolutely in love with OK, Om Kapoor, of course, who is his character in the second half. And it's just such a nice little parallel of the two where it just like switched, and I really enjoyed it a lot. Just there's so many little moments like that in the film and that's what made it just so enjoyable to watch. I think all the songs really flowed together well, because there were like almost constant songs, but it didn't feel like there was too much because they all fit into the story so well. The only song that was a little out of place was of course the big one where they had everyone coming in and all the different like famous Bollywood actors showing their faces. That was, you know, a little not really with the story, but it still worked with it because it showed how like big he was, and it was also just really fun. So I'm not gonna be mad at that. I also enjoyed how they were able to do the 70s so well. The costume and with the songs, they really made it sound like those older Indian songs from the movies, and their costumes were spectacular. Those outfits, I love 70s outfits. They're so bright and over the top, and I thought that they did a spectacular job just nailing that the entire time. And then to switch to the modern day and also nailed that perfectly. Of course, being 2007, so it's like mid-2000s era, the costumes were so different, but they both were so perfect for their time periods that I just absolutely loved it. Like that plaid suit he had on. Come on now, plaid suit, amazing. We need to bring that back. I really loved Farah Khan's directorial style as well. I thought she had a really strong grasp over exactly the message she wanted, and again, as I've said before, like those little details, I think that she absolutely nailed them, and it really is a testament to her skill as a director to be able to bring all those kind of different themes and different tones together and make it all work and flow seamlessly, and she did a really, really great job with that, so big testament to her with that. Vishal Shankar also did an amazing job with the music. As I've said many times, the songs were just absolutely incredible and they all flowed together so perfectly and they worked. I told that a lot of these songs were like hugely famous after they came out, and I 100% see why. They're such fun, upbeat songs that I really enjoyed listening to them, and I'm definitely going to try and listen to some of them more, so I understand why those were very popular in the time. I was really impressed whenever the credits came up and it said introducing Deepika, because she did a spectacular job. I mean, the range of emotions that she showed in this was just phenomenal. The fact that this was one of her earliest films, or if not her first, it was her first big one for sure, says a lot about just her true natural acting ability. She's also just absolutely beautiful. Like, she is truly gorgeous. She'd go away from screen and come back on and I was like, dang, she's beautiful. But so that plus her amazing acting skill, and she's quite a good dancer as well. I can see why she's why she took off so fast after this movie, because this was just a spectacular first movie, and it also was a huge hit. Of course, the lead actor is Shahrukh Khan, who's a great person to have your first big film be with. He is a huge actor, and he's extremely talented. I love watching him dance, and his acting abilities, he does such a good job with all the emotions. You never feel like he's acting, of course, besides when he was acting, because he's playing an actor. But you never really felt like he was acting. It was just kind of very natural, and he feels very true to his character. The same with Don, which is of course a very different role than this one, so that really shows the range of his ability and just the range that he's able to do. He's a very versatile and talented actor, it appears, and I look forward to watching more of his movies because I see there's a whole bunch on Netflix, so gonna have to do a little Shahrukh Khan binge. Yeah, so thankfully I did not read the Netflix descriptor, and I highly recommend that you don't read those if you're going to watch a new movie, because apparently they give away the entire plot twist. Yeah, I really, really enjoyed this movie. I thought, as I've said many times, it was just crafted and put together really, really well, and I look forward to seeing more movies, hopefully directed by Farah Khan and also starring Shahrukh Khan and maybe Deepika as well. So alright, I think that is all I have to say about Om Shanti Om. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed. If you did, feel free to hit that like button and subscribe. And I hope that you all are staying safe out there and have absolutely amazing days. Bye!